Ambassador Chen Wei sat in the crystalline chamber of the Galactic Council, watching as the holographic votes materialized above each delegation's podium. Red, 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 a cascade of crimson denials that sealed humanity's fate. The final tally burned in the air. 847 against, 23 in favor, 12 abstentions. The motion to grant humanity membership in the Galactic Confederation had failed spectacularly. The Zephyrian delegate's ethereal voice echoed through the chamber. The species known as humans has been deemed unsuitable for membership. Their aggressive tendencies, their propensity for violence, and their destructive impact on their own world disqualify them from joining civilized galactic society. Chen kept his face impassive, though inside disappointment churned like acid. Beside him, Dr. Sarah Martinez, Earth's chief xenobiologist, gripped her datapad so tightly her knuckles had gone white. Captain James Foster, representing Earth's defense forces, stared straight ahead with military precision, but Chen could see the muscle twitching in his jaw. Furthermore, continued the Altarian representative, its crystalline form pulsing with cold blue light, we vote to impose a quarantine zone around the Sol system. No human vessel shall venture beyond the asteroid belt. No galactic citizen shall make contact with this species for a period of no less than 500 standard years. The chamber erupted in approving, chittering harmonic resonances and bioluminescent flashes, the various species' ways of showing agreement. Chen stood slowly, drawing every eye in the vast hall. "Honored delegates," he began, his voice carrying clearly through the translation matrix, "we accept your decision. Humanity will respect the quarantine." He paused, letting his gaze sweep across the alien faces, some familiar after months of negotiations, others completely inscrutable. But understand this. You have not caged a monster. You have given us exactly what we need most. Confused murmurs rippled through the assembly. The Vorthon ambassador, a being that resembled a walking tree made of liquid mercury, spoke up. "Explain yourself, human." Chen smiled. Not the diplomatic smile he'd worn for months, but something genuine and fierce. Time. 300 years later, Captain Elena Vasquez stood on the bridge of the Prometheus, watching through the view screen as her fleet dropped out of hyperspace at the edge of the Kepler 442 system. The star blazed before them, and orbiting it was something that made even hardened space veterans catch their breath. A Dyson swarm. Not the primitive solar collectors that had been humanity's first attempt at stellar engineering, but a masterwork of crystalline matrices and quantum collectors that harvested 97% of the star's energy output. The structures moved in perfect harmony, their surfaces gleaming like scattered diamonds against the void. "My God," whispered Commander Park from the navigation station. "How many people live here?" 47 billion, Vasquez replied, consulting her neural interface. "Kepler 442 is just one of our smaller colonies." The communications officer looked up from her station. "Captain, we're receiving a message from Earth Command. The Council's fleet has just entered the Sol system." Vasquez nodded. She'd been expecting this. The galaxy had finally noticed that humanity hadn't exactly been sitting quietly in their corner for the past 3 centuries. The main screen flickered, and Admiral Harrison's weathered face appeared. Behind him, through the viewports of his flagship, hundreds of sleek vessels moved in formation, ships that incorporated technology the Galactic Council couldn't even theorize about yet. "Status report, Captain," Harrison said without preamble. Kepler 442 defense grid is fully operational, sir. Gravitational lenses armed and ready. Quantum disruptors standing by. Vasquez paused, checking her readouts. All 17 colonies report similar status. The fleet stands ready. Harrison's grim expression softened slightly. Excellent. The Council delegation is requesting immediate communication. Apparently, they're very concerned about our unprecedented expansion and our destabilizing technologies. Vasquez couldn't help but laugh. Destabilizing? We haven't even shown them the fun stuff yet. In the Sol system, the same crystalline chamber that had once witnessed humanity's rejection now hosted a very different gathering. The Galactic Council's emergency session had called in representatives from across the galaxy, but this time they weren't here to judge humanity. They were here to beg. Ambassador Chen Wei, now bearing the genetic modifications that had extended his lifespan far beyond normal human limits, stood once again before the assembly. But this time, he wasn't alone. Flanking him were representatives from each of humanity's 17 star systems, their presence a testament to just how far his species had come. The Zephyrian delegate who had once pronounced humanity unsuitable now trembled as it spoke. The human expansion violates the terms of the quarantine. Your species was forbidden from leaving the Sol system. Chen's smile was patient, almost grandfatherly. The quarantine restricted us from traveling beyond the asteroid belt using conventional faster-than-light drives. We honor that restriction. We developed our own method of interstellar travel. Impossible, snapped the Altarian representative. Our scientists have studied spatial mechanics for millions of years. There is no other method. Dr. Martinez, now Director Martinez, head of Humanity's Department of Applied Physics, stepped forward. Her appearance had changed little despite her age, thanks to medical advances that made galactic life extension treatments look primitive. Your scientists study spatial mechanics. We learned to ignore them entirely. She gestured, and a holographic display materialized in the center of the chamber. It showed what appeared to be empty space. Then suddenly, reality folded like origami. A massive human vessel emerged from nowhere, existing in the same location as before, but somehow occupying a completely different region of space-time. Dimensional phase shifting, Martinez explained casually. We don't travel through space. We simply convince space that we're already where we want to be. The universe is surprisingly agreeable once you learn how to ask nicely. The chamber fell silent except for the translation matrices working overtime to convert shocked gasps and electronic shrieks into universal language. The Vorthan ambassador finally managed to speak. What? What do you want from us? Chen's expression grew serious. Nothing. We want nothing from you. You made it clear 3 centuries ago that humanity had no place in your galactic society. We accepted that judgment and built our own. But, surely, the Zephyrian delegate pleaded, there can be cooperation, trade, cultural exchange. Why? Chen interrupted. You called us violent and destructive. You said we were unsuitable for civilized society. What has changed? The truth hung in the air, unspoken but understood by all. What had changed was power. Humanity now commanded resources that dwarfed entire galactic sectors. Their technology had advanced beyond anything the Council had ever seen. Their expansion showed no signs of slowing, and perhaps most importantly, they had done it all without conquest, without war, without the violence the galaxy had expected. They had simply grown. Chen looked around the chamber one final time, seeing the fear and desperate hope in countless alien faces. "The vote was against us," he said quietly, "and you were right to fear us. Not because we were violent or destructive, but because we were human. And the one thing you can never stop humans from doing is proving you wrong." He turned to leave, his delegation following. At the chamber's entrance, he paused. "The quarantine will remain in effect," he announced. "Not because you demand it, but because we choose it. We have 17 star systems now, with more being settled each year. We have our own civilization, our own future. And honestly," he smiled one last time, "we like it better this way." As the human delegation departed, leaving the Galactic Council, to contemplate a universe that had suddenly become much larger and more uncertain, Chen Wei reflected on the irony. The galaxy had tried to contain humanity to protect themselves. Instead, they had given humanity exactly what they needed most: the motivation to become something unprecedented. The vote had been against them. The future, however, was undeniably theirs.